What I've noticed is that most people, and certainly I, consistently underestimated the power of cues to guide my behavior. I figured this is a conscious process and I can not use. And like they say in AA, there I was, with a drink in my hand, thinking that somehow this was going to be different this time.
There's an increasing body of scientific knowledge surrounding the notion of epigenetics, the idea that it ain't just heredity that's getting you drunk, and on the other hand, it isn't just bad decision making that's getting you drunk. There is actually a way whereby bad decision making, if consistently entered upon, will result in modification of certain subcellular biologic factors that direct your conduct going forward. Said a little more simply, the the pattern of our future behavior is determined more than by stupidity. It is also determined, as it happens, by chemical influences on our genes. I don't want to be too casual about that. That may actually influence how we fix this illness state in the future. But for the moment, at least, it means that there is an increasing responsiveness as time goes on to both medical and behavioral influences. Yeah, that's how I wanted to say it, which is the more we do the right thing, somewhat like everything else that we practice, the better at it we get. Mark Galanter is a pretty well-regarded guy in the field. One of the simpler and yet more compelling approaches that he has to this is he is dubbed network therapy. When you've got somebody who is the identified patient, okay, who's your son who has alcohol or drug dependence, you get as many other people involved in the process of recovery as you can, so that everybody has the same range of visibility for the kid as the kid himself, and maybe more thus than the kid himself, because he can't always see certain aspects of behavior. What you were talking about a moment ago in terms of I suddenly found myself with a drink in my hand, it's a genuine perception. It's authentic. They're not just lying to you. They really didn't know that that's how they ended up with the glass in their hand. And what you're trying to do is expand their field of vision to incorporate other people. So you get, if there's a religious influence in the family, you employ that person. It's a priest or a minister, if there's an attorney, if there's a doctor, any of the relatives, any of the friends, they all get pulled together to form what amounts to an observational network. And they all exchange information on a regular basis. And interestingly enough, if you do this right, at some point along the line, the identified patient gets involved in the network and also becomes the recipient of all this other information. Jack, I saw you going into the 7-Eleven the other day. That wasn't a very good idea for you. The last time you did that, period. That's all. Let him draw his inferences from that. Yeah. And electronic communications have permitted this to occur much more in a much more facile fashion than maybe 10 or 15 years ago, when it would have actually involved periodic face-to-face meetings among all of these folks. So you get enough other people involved in this process, and somewhere along the line, the patient, your son, moves from paranoia, everybody's watching me, into a sense of collegiality. Wow, everybody's in on this with me. And that's an example of one of the behavioral processes.
Yeah.